There we go. That was way too loud. Let's adjust that. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. All right. So, hello, everybody. I, yeah. So, Shane, Jeff, Daniel, bonjour. The, uh, the briefly part is I only plan on putting about an hour in here. Let's block that. There we go. Um, and the reason is simple. I've got back injuries. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you guys previously. But as a result, I can only stand for so long before I end up in a lot of pain. I end up having spasms, etc. And my 2 hours out here with you all is about that limit. Sadly, today can't be those 2 hours because I also have to process chickens today. My wife started doing. Hey, Ben. My wife decided that not only would we do the egg birds, but we would do some meat birds. And there just comes a point. Thomas helped me understand this. There just comes a point where those meat birds either get processed or they just die on their own. And you know, as a result, we're probably not going to do Cornish crosses in the future. We'll probably do something like Jersey Giants because then they can live as long as we feel like letting them live instead of worrying that they'll just have heart attacks. We already had one do that. We got 14 meat birds to process today, 15 because we have a rooster that was just being a pain in the ass. So that rooster is no longer going to be a pain in the ass. And that involves a lot of standing. So I have dosed up on various pain and muscle relaxer medications to hopefully allow me to weather this without being debilitated tomorrow, because that's typically how it goes down, is I end up debilitated after all this. But it also means you get a shorter bit of time with me today, and vice versa. I get to have a shorter bit of time with y'all, and that's it is what it is. I enjoy my time with you guys, and so it's a little sad that I have to take that time out, but time out it is. Today I'm going to go ahead and forge up a mate to this hook that I made the last time I was on here, which was way too long ago. So we're going to go ahead and let's just do a little measure in here, make sure I actually have the material I think I have. And it might be close. Yeah, it'll work. It'll be just enough material. Just enough, I think. My end here with the scroll might be just a little bit shorter. That's the part that hangs over the board. So worst case scenario is that's a little shorter. Not the worst thing. So that's the side we'll start with today. Just because you got to put a scroll on something, you might as well do it at the beginning. Forge is getting nice and hot. Turn off the second burner. It's not needed. Close up that air intake. There we go. Keep this here for my pattern. And then I have a different project having to do with a 3D printed gift that I'm making. Apparently there's a couple of axles inside. It's a puzzle box. And they gave me these little 3D printed cut guides. So while that's... Hey, how's it going, Kevin? Ben can only stand me for so long anyway. That's good. Wait a minute. You guys are saying brief. Am I online still or not? I'm dropping a lot of frames. Well, that's not good. It says I have a good signal, though. That's weird. 60 frames per second. Okay, well, you guys let me know. Anyway, I've got a 3D printing gift job. It involves an axle. And so they gave me cut guides for the axle lengths. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut real quick while we're waiting for the material to heat up, which isn't taking long at all. Let me go over here. We're going to go to studio mode. We're going to go to that one. And I'm going to relocate where I'm focused to everybody's favorite. Take the one cut guide off. Let's transition so you can see the effort. Where's the button for transition? There's studio mode. Okay, I got to add a button. Got it. Try that again. There's where we're going. Put this in here, lock it in. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn it around so you can see it better. I'm hopefully putting it where the saw has has space enough. And it has that guide right there. That's the first one. The guide flew off. No big deal. Double check it, see if I have to cut again. Nope, we're good. It may be too short. We'll see when I go to put it in. Do something that I just watched somebody else do. Specifically, instead of trying to move the file over it and having it bounce around, we'll move it over the file. Saw John Switzer do this. I was shocked. I'd never thought of it. It's like using a sandpaper. Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Switzer. It was the person who built this model, I think. Anyway, I think it was a 3D printing thing. Clean it up. Looks good. Do it again. All my files are rusty because it's been so damp out here. All right, that guide's not needed anymore. We'll go with this guide. Hey, Rob. Smarter than the guide, Jack. Smarter than the guide. All right. I got a new follow. That's awesome. A 7-gallon belly kegger. Nice, Shane. Call it Harold. All right, let's do this again. That worked so well the first time. Wants to jump as soon as I do it. Oh, I see why. I see why. Needs to be out further. I'll have to steady it with the as I was with this hand. Hopefully you guys get to see something interesting. But not so interesting as to like involve an emergency room. There it is. Looks like I was putting a little force on it while I was doing that. Let's go ahead and see if I can straighten that. Not a real deal, serious issue. All right, that's the second form done. Go ahead and do this, this. That. Trying to be professional here. Not give everybody motion sickness. All right. Clean up these ends after a bit, but first let's get to some blacksmithing. That's probably going to be too hot to hold, so I'm going to grab a glove and hope a spider didn't climb in it. Doesn't look like it, just on it. Go ahead and switch on over. That's hot even for the glove. We're going to do this a little different then. I just realized I don't have my safety glasses on. I could have poked my eye out. You're going to poke your eye out. You'll poke your eye out, Kit. Actually, you'll shoot your eye out. That's the phrase. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate that. My family did both. This is why I have no problem with season's greetings. All right. I could use tongs for this, but I prefer to just hold it if I can. We're going to warm it up just a hair. All right. Ended up folding that over, but as that's going to be part of the scroll, that's really not the worst thing. It's not going to cause me, if you can see it, it's folded over right there. If this were for any other purpose, we'd want to cut that off. We got sunlight streaming in here, so it's hard to tell the temp of the metal by its luminosity, just so you know. And at this point, I'm just planishing. In the thicker area. Get it around. We'll scroll it up. Let me take a look at the original. Yeah, we need to pull that back further, round it up further. We will. Easy peasy. That way we get the length we need. I missed you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been here. There's been a lot going on. We had to get our finances in order. I've been unemployed now since the end of September. So we had to get our finances in order. And part of getting finances in order involved making it so that I can accept lesser pay than I was. I'm basically taking a job. It's a temp job, 9-month plus contract with a company that'll be putting me at Apple. So it'd be nice to see how Apple does data engineering. But it does mean I'm getting $15 an hour less than I was previously. And that's a lot. I mean, I know it would seem like a lot to anybody, right? But in an area where the cost of living is as high as it is, everybody thinks in my family that I'm wealthy because of how much I make. I'm not. I have no retirement because I can't afford to put money into retirement because every bit of my money goes towards, keeping the household and the couple of hobbies I have, the few hobbies. I'll admit, I have more than a few hobbies. We don't live high on the hog, whatever. Hogs are involved. We don't live with them. By the way, we remember that this stuff is hardenable, so I am not quenching any part of this that has gotten too darned hot. All right. Okay, I'll show you what I'm making, Rob. Hey, welcome into the stream. In the helmet, yeah, we're always going to look for the in the helmet before putting a helmet on for spiders. Ear protection too. You know, it's really funny. The bigger spiders aren't the ones that are going to cause you the most harm. It's them little ones. Just started to snow. Yuck. All right, so let me switch Smithy focus. We'll go ahead and switch over here. This is what I'm making today. I made it last stream, and before you came on, Rob, make sure. Yep. Before you came on, Rob, I was apologizing to everybody for not being here recently. Oh, wait a minute. It goes this way. This, if you guys recall from the last time I was on, slips over the 1x3, 1x4 that our chicken tractor uses, and then my wife can hang a sawhorse on here. Anyway, so I'm making another one to match it. But as some might recall, this this piece of rebar can get hard and crack if I'm not careful. So we're only quenching off black material just so I can hold it, because I don't want to have to hold this long thing with a pair of tongs. Going to 16 sides now. And while it's in the black, or as far as the sun is concerned, because we have sunlight today. Good day for processing chickens. We don't have wind, we don't have rain. But what I was saying was, there's a reason why I haven't been on here recently, and I apologize. I know people say, if you're going to do live streams, be regular about it. And as my little thing here inappropriately says, I try to be regular about it. When I say inappropriately, it's because I've not been very regular about it, and I've got the wrong time on there, because I still haven't gone in to fix that problem. Life's been a challenge. Good friends have reached out, tell me to keep on plugging. And of course, there's no choice in my mindset. I'll always keep on plugging. I can get depressed, but depression doesn't stop me from plugging. It just stops me from doing the things that are fun. That's a little bit of why I haven't been on here. But the others, simply that I've had too many things going on, and when I stress, my body hurts more. And that's what's been happening. My body's been hurting too much to get out here and be physical. This is going to be a shorter stream today for that very same reason. We have to process our meat birds that we've been raising. And because we've already lost one to a heart attack, and Thomas taught us a little bit, and that is what happens. You don't process them soon enough, they just have heart attacks and die. So, and then you can't really process it because you don't know when it died. So it's a wasted bird at that point. we're not likely going to do Cornish crosses again, because they make sense for industry, but for us, where you've got to deal with weather, you've got you want the birds to have their best life. I don't feel that it's their best life if they only get to live it until they're preteens. These things are barely better than chicks at this point, but they're so massive because of the nature of their crossbreeding. And so we're probably going to switch to Jersey Giants. They're also nice sized meat birds, but they get to live a life. We can give them their best life. I'm just making this a nicer transition. It wasn't as far out as I wanted it. Now, this needs to get squared up. So I'm going to have to switch to tongs. All right. That part's done, I believe. Let's take a look. We got our scroll. Yep. And now we're into the transition. All right. Sadly, I don't get to do this by hand with holding on to it any further. I'm going to have to use the tongs. You keep plugging, Daniel, just like me, right? You know, there's no quit. There's just get yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep on going. Why did Yamez get brought up? I'm missing it. When you get Yamez, did you mean when you get depressed? I know that there are pills. I'm on a lot of different pills already for the muscle, for the pain, and for ADHD. So, and for blood pressure and for cholesterol. So I'm not a fan of pills, but you know, I know they're there. So I was saying, Eric, that the job search has been weird. I have not been able to find another role yet that pays what I'm getting paid, what I was getting paid. And I don't even mean the job that I was just at. I'm talking about the job I was at before that. The one I was just at was paying me a lot more than I anticipated. But the job before that, I'm going into a job where I'll be making $15 an hour less than I was. And so we had to get our finances in order. That was adding to my stress. The job search was adding to my stress. When I stress, I'm in pain. When I'm in pain, I can't stand. I can't do much. It causes a bit of depression. It makes it so I don't want to do the things that I enjoy doing. So, you know, that's where it's been. Let me go ahead and transition since I'm talking here for a bit. The job search has been rough. This is not the right period in the calendar year for doing a job search. Everybody is busy thinking about holidays, you know, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's, and they want to get past all that. And then there's always, of course, the fact that a lot of companies will align their fiscal quarters to the annual quarter or to the calendar quarters. And when that happens, then the money isn't even there to do the hiring. So a lot of times, all that's available is what I've been offered at this point, which is a temp role. I'll be starting in January, so I'm still unemployed until January. I'll be starting in January, a contract role at Apple, unless a different opportunity presents itself that's better, and possibly sooner. But like I said, I'm having to take pretty sizable haircut to take this role. So we did the only logical thing, and we cashed out my retirement, what little I had, and paid off as much debt as we could pay off. So at least we won't have those bills. So we're going to be in a good shape. My wife is brilliant. She thought of that. I agreed, and she made it happen. So go ahead and switch back. But yeah, that's the nature of the tech job market, at least. I don't know about any other job market. Straighten all this out. And back into the fire. That's what I told them. I basically said it's not the rate I'm shooting for, but right now, any job is practically, obviously there's rare exceptions, practically any job is better than no job and unemployment. At least I have unemployment. The last company I was with, I have not nice words for them, because they listed my separation from them as a firing, when they should have listed it as a layoff, because I asked for accommodations, having spent the time and money to better understand where my challenges were coming from, and gotten diagnosed for 2 AD AAA recognized disabilities. And instead of giving me accommodations, they said, we can't do that. So if you're not going to be able to be successful with what we have available, how about we just give you 2 months severance and 2 months COBRA? That read to me as an amicable separation, i.e. a layoff. They listed it as a firing and delayed my unemployment. But to get that severance, I had to sign something that said I wouldn't sue them. So by all rights, though, I could sue them, lose the severance, and who knows where I would end up, considering you can't fire somebody because they have an AD AAA disability. So hopefully I'm coming back here in a second. Let me know. It says I'm putting out somewhere between 30 to 60 frames per second. It looks like I probably need to change things so that I'm only doing 30 frames per second instead of 60. right, we're going to turn it around, continue squaring it up from the other direction. Thomas, I was just talking about you. You guys seeing me now? Or is it still lost? Or is it just Eric that's losing me? Hey, granddads. I know it's Rob, but we have another Rob on here, so. So, put simply, it's been tough lately, but I don't have a whole lot of quit in me. I have some pause in me. I'll take pauses from time to time, but not quit. Good to know, Thomas. Today we're processing meat birds. So, where I'm only going to be in here for about an hour today. I was telling folks that earlier that the reason for that is simple. I only have so much stand time before my back starts acting up too badly. And I'm afraid that if I stand in here too long, getting out there and processing the meat birds is going to be troublesome. And I need to have that extra in the tank for doing that. Yeah, how you healing, Thomas? Uh, Train had to take a pause there, but it wasn't the coal train, so no need to run. So I'll say it again for those who weren't here. My apologies for not being here as regularly as I meant to, as I promised to. But life's been rough. Stress has been high. When stress is high, body pain's high. Last week, I literally just couldn't even get up. And so I couldn't even get out where I could tell you guys I wasn't going to be on. It just was kaput. But between then and now, I had an interview with Apple for a contract role, not contract to hire, just contract. And it was the easiest interview I've ever done in my life, which I think is the way interviews should probably go more often. I think more contract to hire should happen. Put a warm butt in a seat, let them try to fulfill the role. And if they don't fulfill the role, end the contract. Simple. Instead of the, 5 rounds of interviews that so many tech companies do. Yes, you heard that right. Most of the time I have to interview with 5 different people. Before I can get a job. Instead, the Apple guy said, tell me about what you've done. Tell me about the hardest thing you've done. He listened carefully enough to decide whether or not I was bullshitting or not. And then from there, apparently he thought I wasn't bullshitting or worth at least seeing what I can do. So I get to start with them. I'm going through background check now. Get to start with them. Okay, I need to round that up to there. Will do. I get to start with them in January, assuming nothing comes up in the background check, which it won't. But it means taking a $15 an hour pay cut, which is stressful. But my wife is brilliant, and while I'll never be able to retire, all our bills are paid off except the house bill and the car lease. So, you know, as I said, I haven't been consistent on here. I apologize for that. There's not a lot of quit in me. It was just there was a need for a pause because I was hurting. My back was giving me troubles. No, it's not your network, Thomas. It's mine. Says I have a strong network, but it's not behaving like I do. I don't know if it will have ended my stream and started another one. I don't know.